look into the future of Long Island's education.
Part 3 of News 12's continuing series, Project 2000, is up next. Stay with us.
What do all these bills have in common? You have to pay them by the end of the month. Not this one. This is from the Thomasville Gallery in Farmingdale, and you don't have to pay it till next year. I'm John Campbell, manager of the Thomasville Gallery in Farmingdale. We're celebrating our first anniversary by offering great savings on every Thomasville bedroom, dining room, and sofa in our collection, with no payments, no interest, and no finance charges until January of '89. Enjoy the rest of the year in comfort and style. Don't forget about these.
Thomasville Gallery, Route 110, Farmingdale.
Hey, welcome to the World Backward Driving Championship. There goes the Isuzu Trooper by the bar into the water hazard. Ooh, this baby's got a 2.6-liter engine, 25% more horsepower than before. Oh, boy. You can carry a load of stuff, and it comes in automatic and costs only $11,911, which is exactly the same backwards or forwards, and hundreds less than the Cherokee by Jeep, which is peach backwards. Whoops. The Isuzu Trooper. It has the peach beat coming and going.
Well, what's going to happen to education on Long Island in the next 12 years? That's the focus of our next report in the News 12 series, Project 2000. News 12's education editor, Roma Torrey, is here with a look at the future.
Okay,
right?
Carol. Yes, educators are pretty optimistic. There are currently 600,000 students enrolled in Long Island schools with about 50,000 teachers attending them. With those kinds of numbers, it's impossible to talk about education without including all the other facets of Long Island life, jobs, business, even the elderly population. They're all affected by what happens in our schools. There are definite changing trends on Long Island. While it's impossible to cover them all, I did take a look at some of them, and hopefully they'll help to project us into the year 2000. Meet 5-year-old Paul Taglienti. He lives in South Huntington with his parents, grandparents, and 2 brothers. Paul is a normal child. He likes baseball, is good with numbers, and he goes to kindergarten. But along with the thousands of other kindergartners out there, he shares one very special distinction. Paul is a member of the graduating class of the year 2000.
You know, boys and girls, you're a very special class. You know why? Why? Because you are part of the graduating class of the year 2000. Do you know that?
No. I just wish I were Paul. Little Paul starting again.
Now meet Dr. Jay Summer. He's a professor at C.W. Post College. Before that, he co-authored this country's leading publication on education, A Nation at Risk. And before that, he was National Teacher of the Year. On the subject of Long Island education, he sees some very positive trends.
Usually the teachers in kindergarten and pre-kindergarten were more or less in a babysitting situation. And I think that we are beginning to realize that these children have enormous capacities to learn, and that's a very fertile soil.
Paul attends the Silas Wood Early Childhood Center. You might call it the wave of the future. Last year, this was an elementary school. Now it's strictly preschool and kindergarten. It's a fully equipped daycare center as well.
It can't be negated that the fact that a 5-year-old becomes the 17-year-old or the 18-year-old who has many of the problems that we see with older children today. They don't develop at age 17. They begin when our children are very young, and we have to provide direction for the children and for the parents.
I'd like you to close your eyes. We're going to pretend that years are passing, and we're going into the future. We're going to be passing 12 years.
No one can guarantee the next 12 years will pass quite as smoothly. Educators concede there are obstacles on the road to graduation. Money is one of them.
If you want to have a good program, you need the teacher for it. You need the equipment for it. And I think that both the state and the federal government ought to equalize the problems where the districts do not have the necessary money.
With less and less state aid made available to Long Island schools, the burden of paying for education is falling more heavily on the taxpayers.
After a while, they will defeat themselves and there'll be no one left to tax.
In Elwood, for example, where there's no industry, school taxes are costing residents $70 for every 100 of assessed property value. That's the highest on Long Island, but Elwood officials say because of insufficient state aid and mandated costs, they need every penny.
The more we have to control spending, the more we have to cut into the bone marrow of the educational program.
Now it's the year 2000. You can open your eyes. Now, do you know how old you will be in the year 2000? Dawn?
13. I mean 30.
30.
91. Whoa!
The census tells us, and I'm reading from Hodgkinson, that 59% of the children born in 1983 will live with only one parent before reaching age 18. We're not talking about a few kids in a poor neighborhood. 59%.
Demographics are certainly changing on Long Island, and schools must answer the challenge.
Here we have the daycare program after school, and I see that as a very good solution for the children because I watch them leave here very happy. They're not nervous. They're not worried about what's going to happen later.
Poverty is spreading. One report indicates the number of Long Island students living below the poverty line is 45,000.
Do you think he has to work hard in school to be a policeman?
Yeah.
As for the quality of education, that's hard to measure. Test scores on Long Island have usually been slightly above the state average, but Long Island is slipping, especially in math and science.
Our elementary school teachers are virtually afraid of science. The problems are with teacher education programs. We are too much concerned with methodology and not enough concerned with subject area.
No matter what the future of education on Long Island, it's certain that schools are taking on greater responsibilities. Drug and alcohol abuse, battered children, teenage pregnancy, and daycare are all standard concerns now in Long Island schools. The question is, can they live up to the challenge?
The class of 2000 is going to have a wonderful prom, and they'll look back and they'll say, I'm very glad that I live in America.
Well, he's certainly optimistic. Predictions are impossible, but recognizing the trends may help to ease us into the year 2000.